Welcome to Blueprint Radio. I'm your host, Martin Williams. Here we help you create a blueprint for your life. So let's build. And welcome to Blueprint Radio. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You may do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S, or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. So today's podcast is what you walk in is what you get. One of my favorite stories from the Bible, I talk about the Bible a lot. One of my favorite stories from the Bible is when the children of Israel walked around the walls of Jericho and the walls fell down. And what I liked about it was that it was a fulfillment of a promise where God told them that every place where their feet tread, that he has already given to you, right? Already given to them. And so I think that people oftentimes get confused, or they're indecisive, or they're afraid, or what have you, because the thing that they want to take over, or the thing that they want to do, is so big, right? It's bigger than anything that they've done. It's bigger than anything that they've encountered, and it becomes almost like a dream. You know, it doesn't seem like reality, because you're looking at what you have in your hand, and you're looking at the thing, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen, right? So this has happened with me a few times in the course of my life, where I wanted to do something that was beyond my ability at the time, whether it was beyond my physical ability, or what I felt was my mental ability, or even financial ability. And what I had to decide was that I could either dream, I could either continue to dream of having the thing, or I could have the thing. And the way that you get to the place of having the thing is you have to walk in it. What does that mean, to walk in it? Well, I'll just use an example, right? I've told the story before, but basically, when I wanted to go back to school, I didn't have any money, right? I didn't have any money. And the school that I was going to at the time had said that they weren't going to let me back in because I had taken some time off because I ran out of money. Not because I wanted to, but I took time off because I ran out of money. And so they said, you know, you can come back, but we can't give you those credits. Whatever credits you earn, you're going to lose them. And so, you know, I'd spent thousands of dollars accruing those credits. And so for them to say that I couldn't use those credits was pretty disappointing, to say the least. But I held on to that dream of graduating. I wanted my master's degree. I felt like I'd worked towards it. I had gone to the school to do intensives and things like that. I had really put a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I was doing it regardless of what was going on in my life. I was working full time. You know, I had personal issues going on, relationship issues, you know, just all sorts of things. And I really wanted that degree. I felt, you know, that degree is mine. I want it. I'm going to finish it. So at first, you know, again, they said, well, we're not going to let you use those credits towards this new degree, right? So I just emailed someone else, right? Because you basically talk to people that are representatives of the school. And I said, well, you know, this isn't the only representative. I'm going to talk to somebody else. So I talked to another person, and they said, well, you can use some of what you took towards this other degree, right? So instead of me continuing the path that I was on, I went into a similar degree, but it was, it was different, but also similar enough where I could use my credits is basically what I'm getting to. And what I understood and what I really got from all of it was that God was taking me in another direction, but I didn't realize it at the time. So long story short, because I went to school to be a counselor, a licensed professional counselor. And I just, because I had to miss the time, and basically they wouldn't put me back. They wouldn't let me back in that counseling program unless I started from scratch, and I wasn't doing that at that point. So I ended up going into a counseling life coaching cohort, which is what my degree is in. I have a counseling life coaching degree. But a lot of my courses were in the licensed professional counselor mode. So I do feel I'm equipped. But my point is, in this story, is that if I had just stopped where I was, I would have never finished my degree. What I had to do is that along the way, even though they were saying no, I was walking in the reality of having my degree. I was walking in it, right? When I got up in the morning, I would visualize having my degree. I stopped talking from the point of when I get back to school. In my mind, I was back in school. I was going to the website and I was registering for classes. I didn't have a dime to pay for it. I mean, my money was going elsewhere and I couldn't borrow anymore. So even with all of that ahead of me, I just kept going. I kept saying, you know what? I'm not stopping because this, I've earned this. This belongs to me. And I'm not going to stop just because somebody on a computer said that I can't. Right. So I knew about the power of faith and everything else, but I really broke a barrier in my own life when I said, I'm just going to walk in it. And I've done it for jobs. I've done it for, places that I was trying to get. I've done it for a lot of things. You have to walk in what you want. You have to walk in it because every place where your feet tread, right? Every place where your feet tread, God has given it to you. It's been given to you. One of the great lies of life is that, well, I've got to earn this and I've got to earn that. But even in that story, I had amassed enough credits to have a degree. I really did earn it, right? It wasn't really, it really wasn't a, just something in my mind. I really did earn that degree, but I didn't have it. And not only did I not have it, they weren't going to let me back in school because I had taken too much time off. They weren't going to let me back. So even though I had air quotes earned it, I was sitting there with no degree. So it kind of goes back to the mode of, well, what is earning? Because there's people who they work themselves to the bone, right? But they barely have enough money to survive. Hasn't that person earned money? I would say so. Haven't they earned enough to live a good life? I would say so, but they don't. Why is that? Because that's not how the law works. The way the law works is what you walk in is what you get. Okay? That's why you have to have the mentality of ownership. I saw that degree not as something that I needed to earn or get. I saw it as something I owned already. And when you have the mentality of ownership and you're no longer trying to earn something, You're no longer trying to, grasp at something that doesn't, that you don't have yet, right? When you start to move from that place and start to think from that place, then at that point, it starts to happen. So everything that I was trying to make happen began to happen when I looked at it as something I already owned, when I started walking in it daily. I started walking as a graduate of said university. I was walking in the reality of I'm coaching people, right, with this degree. And it seemed like overnight. It really didn't take a long time, right? When I really understood it, I lost my job. And the job was a job where when I was first hired, they told me we haven't had a layoff in over 10 years, right? So they said, we haven't laid off anybody in over 10 years. This is a job for life, right? And I had really resigned myself to working there for the rest of my life. I really did. And God had other plans, right? Which is, it's okay. I want to be in God's will. I don't want to be in my will if it doesn't line up with God's will. So what was the catalyst for that? Why did they lay me off? They laid me off because I wasn't going to get enough money from that job to go back to school. So as soon as they laid me off, within a few weeks, I gotten another job. And this job was paying more than the one that I was laid off from. And at that point, I finally got the inspiration. I said, well, I can go back to school now. And so I began to make preparations to go back to school. And then I ended up getting another job 2 months later, which I was paid much more than I had ever made before. And that amount of money, plus I received a gift from my mom, which combined, I was able to pay the rest of my tuition out, and I finished my degree, right? So, and I have my master's degree now. Well, it's around here somewhere. We just moved. But my point is, I got it. I can always order another one. But my point is that in the midst of it was I had to start walking in what I wanted. So think about, think about what it is that you want, right? What is it that you want? You want a new job? You want to start your own business? Do you want to, lose weight? Do you want to, get out of debt? Do you want to, get into, a loving relationship with someone? You got to start walking in it. And you can't look at it as, well, hopefully it'll happen one day, or hopefully this will happen and that will happen. No. That's not how you get anything. You got to walk in it. You got to walk in it every single day. You got to walk as if, right, you have it. You got to walk as if you have those clients that you've been trying to get for all this time. You got to walk as if you have that new home, right? You got to walk as if you have that dream job, that dream business, whatever it is. You got to walk in it, right? You got to walk every single day. You have it now. You got to walk as if you have it now. And, is it the easiest thing in the world to do? No, it's not. There are days when you don't feel like doing any of that. Mindset work is not easy work. That's why I laugh when people say, you think you can just meditate and get things. And first off, that's not ever what I teach. I don't teach you can meditate and get anything, but I do say that when you think and act in the same line, the reality that you're thinking and acting in has to happen, whether it's positive or negative. There are a lot of people who think that they're going to get sick every single year, and they do. even though there's people on their same block who don't get sick. So is it something that's going around in the air, or is there something else happening that's deeper than that? So think about, in what ways am I thinking, and am I thinking in line with what I want, or am I thinking in line with what I've had all this time? And what you'll find is that most of us think in such an habitual way that we end up getting what we always have had, whether it's something we want or something we don't. So thank you so much for listening to the Blueprint Radio podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to Blueprint Radio. For more information on Martin Williams coaching and products, please go to guidedexpressions.com or visit me on Facebook as well as Instagram.